And it's just basketball. It's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. Welcome back. It is Monday. Therefore, it is time to give shout outs to people who gave super thanks throughout the week. But before we do, as always, got to give a shout out to the channel members. Shout out to Gary, aka G, the Great One. Shout out to Thanos Snap Feminism. Charles Hookah, In the Groove 56, Great Juice, The Real Siberius, The Real Heisenberg, Mary Lewis, Rike, Vernon Lee Warren, It's Not That Serious, Ant Weston, Keith Brazell, Chase 1738, Austin Casey, Daryl Stewart, Old Ludwig Drummer, Wayman Earls, Rick Claverly, Multi Breezy B, Papa Yogito, Wizman Ballin, Twin, Dr. Les Barrett, Drum Jackson, Eric C, Snug Chamberlain, Lil A, and shout out to Peter G. Thank you so much to all the members of the channel. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. I truly cannot thank you enough. And without further ado, my people, let's get into these super thanks. First one, shout out to @Shifting to Success coming through with the $5 super thanks. And this is coming from my Michael Jordan slaps current NBA players with the truth about load management. As we all know, the return of Michael Jordan has the 4 and 6 kingdom sitting in a corner shaking, hoping he will go away from exposing how soft this modern NBA is. But anyway, shout out to Shifting to Success, comes through with the $5 super thanks, says, "What's up, Uncommon? I'm dealing with this government shutdown, so forgive me for not sending you as much as I normally do because your content definitely deserves it." Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. He says, but that also brings me to my point about load management. The biggest problem for me with load management is this. What are NBA tickets more often than not? They're gifts, birthday presents, Christmas gifts, anniversary gifts, graduation gifts, etc. So people get these tickets only for their favorite player or star to not play. So that's crazy within itself, because we know some of these tickets are super expensive. So to not show up for hardworking fans who probably spent their last dollar to go to a game and then the players don't show up because they have a strained butt cheek is diabolical work. Thanks again, my friend, for your amazing content. We appreciate you, bruh. Thank you so much. Shout out to Shifting to Success, a fellow percussionist. But yeah, this is absolutely right. And he made a good point about this. A lot of people get these tickets as gifts to other people. And so, I mean, that just adds another layer of, like he said, how diabolical this is to, hey, son, I got you some tickets to see the Duck for your birthday, man. I know you've always been a fan of the Duck because you're young and don't know no better. And so, you know, I wanted you to have the experience of seeing the flopping in person for yourself. And the kid is probably excited again because he doesn't know any better. And then he get there and is, oh, well, the Duck has a strained glute. The Duck has sciatica. He's not going to be here. And so, yeah, and I'm going to add this too, because I was just watching a segment. I think, shout out to the basketball show. I think it was his show where he was talking about, he was doing a segment on Platinum CFL member Nick Wright and Chris Broussard, they had a segment, and Chris Broussard said something in that segment like, LeBron James is not included in the load management. I'm like, are you crazy? And this shows you how much that they cap in mainstream media for LeBron James. But anyway, shout out to Shifting to Success. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Real Siberius coming through with the $10 super thanks, and this is from the same video. He says, I apologize for the long comment, but I have a lot to say in regards to this topic. I am a man of composure. I always try to moderate myself and handle myself with decorum. Not today. Load management is for weak PUSSIES, and I feel completely justified in saying so. In 2023, at 47 years old, I suffered 3 traumatic brain injuries. I also had broken ribs and deep bone bruises. I had a third of my skull removed for 4 months. On top of my physical injuries, I lost a fair amount of cognitive ability and manual dexterity. I don't mention this for sympathy or pity. I simply bring it up for context. I went back to work after 30 days. I didn't do it because I am a tough guy. I did it because the world doesn't care and isn't responsible for your problems. I did it because my family and employer still depended on me. I did it because I needed to push myself fast and hard so I can make the best recovery possible. So when I see millionaires who get paid to play a game sit out because of an ankle discomfort, glute soreness, and finger irritation, I want to break things. I want to punch them in the face until I break my hand and then keep punching them because I'm not a quitter. What these players fail to grasp is your adversity is as hard as you make it. Pushing yourself not only builds stamina, it also builds character. It builds grit. It expands your boundaries and allows you to push yourself even further next time. You are your own limitations. I am physically and mentally crippled, but I will be effed if I am not going to push myself to my limit and beyond because I want to improve myself. I want to challenge myself. I want to be stronger the next time hardship and adversity tries to spit in my face. Your convictions need to be stronger than your excuses. There is no progress without discomfort. Shout out to the Real Siberius for this comment. And he is absolutely right. You know, it goes back to the thing that Michael Jordan said during that clip, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that you never know what is going to happen when you push yourself. In other words, you may surprise yourself of the extraordinary things you can accomplish when you push yourself. But when you don't push yourself, you will never know. Matter of fact, I would say this: pushing yourself is the key to greatness. Pushing yourself is the key to greatness. And this is why people like LeBron James are falsely in the conversation for greatness. Like I said, at this point, I don't even have LeBron James ranked. I do not believe, I don't believe you can have integrity and rank LeBron James amongst other players who have integrity. It just doesn't, I can't bring myself to do that. So as of right now, LeBron James is not ranked for me. But yeah, you know, it's that mentality of being willing to constantly push yourself. That is the very thing that drives you to greatness. And so again, you can drive yourself to greatness, or you can rest on what natural ability you may have. And this is what LeBron James has done. The guy has natural athletic ability, but he didn't push himself. And again, this is the thing that's going to keep you from feeling fulfilled. It's like all these things LeBron James has, and he still doesn't feel fulfilled in life. And we know this because he still is upset about people not viewing him the GOAT. It's the same thing with Kevin Durant. Everything that he has accomplished in life, including making it to the NBA, including the amount of money he has made, everything he's accomplished in life, he still doesn't feel fulfilled, or else he wouldn't be having these conversations about, oh, why shouldn't I be in the GOAT conversation? Why should we be in these conversations? Why do I have to be looked at differently because I joined Golden State Warriors? I just don't understand. Can people please respect my accomplishments? Please. No, we can't, Kevin Durant. No, we can't, and we won't, LeBron James. Again, you can choose to do what you want. You can choose to load manage. That is your choice. No one can stop you from doing it. But again, we will not respect it ever, period. So any attempts to try to rewrite history on your Just the Game podcast and whatever other podcast you go on is falling on deaf ears when it comes to real basketball fans. But shout out to the Real Siberius. If you haven't checked out his channel, go on over and check out his channel because just like his comments, his channel is full of insights. But thank you so much for the $10 super thanks. Thank you so very, very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Dread For You. And this is coming from my LeBron James cuts off Kendrick Perkins for exposing the bum's son. And he comes through with the $5 super thanks, and he simply says, thanks. Thank you so very much for the $5 super thanks, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Dr. Les Barrett. This is coming from the same video. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. It says, you just might be a bum win. Fans believe they can beat you in basketball. Has anyone else seen videos of old NBA players who weren't stars being challenged by regular hoopers only to be completely embarrassed? Uncle Drew was a fictional character, and yet the idea that even an old washed up player beating a neighborhood star is more plausible than Bronny possibly beating one. They say dreams really do come true. However, sometimes they really don't, which certainly can be very painful. Kendrick Perkins pointing out that LeBron's dream for his son is unrealistic may have been the pain that caused LeBron to unfriend Big Perk. Does anyone care to bet? Shout out to Dr. Les Barrett. Yeah, I think because I believe at the beginning of this video, I said, I'm starting to think I could beat Bronny James in one-on-one. And I say this because Bronny James is like the exact type of player that I would beat one-on-one. Those are the players who are just athletic and they get by on their athleticism. Especially if you're around my height, and Bronny James isn't that tall either. So now, honestly, at this point, Bronny James is gonna beat me. You know, I hadn't played ball in the longest time, but I'm starting to think that me in my prime would have definitely beat Bronny James one-on-one. I really believe that. And that's a shame. That is a shame. But shout out to Dr. Les Barrett. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Dr. 3196 coming through with the $2 super thanks. This is coming from my Carmelo Anthony will be hated for saying this about NBA players. And in this video, I talked about Carmelo Anthony is one of the first players that I actually heard say that the love of the game is being lost and that they have gotten complacent. Because most people try to dance around and make excuses and try to say, oh, these modern players, they love the game just as much as previous eras. These modern players, they're just as competitive. But Carmelo Anthony finally said the truth, and that is no, the love is being lost and they have gotten complacent. Again, the LeBron James era has spent this whole era destroying the NBA that took years to build up, that took years to build up on the backs of all the previous players, on the backs of your Bill Russell, your Bill Russells, your Bob Cousy's, your Oscar Robinsons, and of course your Bird of Magics, your Dr. J's, your Kareems, and of course Michael Jordan just taking the league to the moon, and only to turn it over to a duck that has spent his whole career destroying it all and living off the fruits of other people's labor, just like the spoiled brat he is, and being treated like a spoiled brat because he acts like a spoiled brat. And anyway, shout out to the Dr. 3196. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, isn't it great how 7 minutes of Michael Jordan talking points are already legendary quotes circulating online and just making all the fanboys rage, whereas LeBron is just dead silent because he's scared of the feds or the mob or whatever shady things he's got going on in his pathetic life. Facts. It's very interesting. As much as LeBron James likes to talk, and as much as LeBron James likes to talk about current things that are circulating in the media, LeBron James hasn't addressed any of the stuff that Michael Jordan said. Mind the Game or Just the Game podcast where they talk about it and try to say why Jordan is wrong. Nothing. No tweet saying how Jordan is wrong. LeBron James has just been silent and pouting because he no longer has the power that he used to, because the Lakers said, you don't have to go, LeBron, but after this year, you got to get the hell out of here. Shout out to the Dr. 3196. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Smitty. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna get this last name right. Werwin Jaeger Jensen. Comes through with the $5 super thanks, and this is coming from the same video. He says at 509, if he needs to ask why, then fans should be asking why. Why should we watch you? There needs to be a mass boycott of the NBA in order to change this mindset. Nothing will change it until it impacts their bottom line. Period. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is a fact. If it was possible to get everyone, even just for a week, to not watch anything NBA related, just so they could see how serious the fans are, and so they could see the impact that it would make if we all just completely stop consuming anything NBA. And I don't know how far it stretches to social media, because honestly, I don't watch full games. I normally watch highlights just to get a gist. I tried watching full games last year and I just became uninterested so quickly. I had bought League Pass and everything, and the product is just so terrible. But yeah, if everyone just stopped consuming all things NBA for a week, that would make an impact. Because outside of that, the only other thing that could make an impact would be something like a Michael Jordan type became commissioner, somebody who would actually hold the players accountable. But if there's not going to be anyone in power who holds the players accountable, then the next thing is, fans en masse, if they stop watching, the NBA would have to respond one way or another. They would have no choice. But anyway, shout out to Smitty. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to KK1981. Coming through with the $25 super thanks, and this is coming from the same video. He says 1437 to 1457. This is 100, 100, 100. Even the LBJ fanboys that I know personally have been very oddly quiet. Damn shame. And he says, thanks. Thank you so much for the $25 super thanks. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Yeah, this, like I said, fanboys, you guys are not doing your jobs as member of the CFL. You know, you guys are full-time capper for LeBron, but I guess maybe you guys are load managing. LeBron James, your fanboys are load management. Now, this is a problem because without your fanboys, I mean, you really have no one to go out and constantly try to promote your lies except Unclutch Sports. So, LeBron James, you might want to show your fanboys some love so they stop this load management. But anyway, shout out to Rike. Thank you so much for the $25 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Real Siberius again, coming through with the $2 super thanks. And this is coming from my Marcellus Wiley. Says load management gives LeBron James and other players the longevity that other players wish they could have. Essentially, this is what he said. He says the reality that they refuse to accept is they can change their own mindset, but you can't change mine. They can lower their standards, but you can't lower mine. They can beg for respect, but they can't earn mine. Just as they have the right to be soft, I have the right to call them soft. They don't get to have it both ways. They don't get to move the goalposts, play less games, play no defense, not compete, and load manage and expect to be considered great. Why? Because they aren't great. Exactly. Greatness isn't something that is bestowed upon you. It's earned. You can't be a benchmark for others to live up to when you have failed to live up to the benchmark set before you. Facts. Says all of them have failed to surpass the GOAT in a weaker league with weaker opposition and without the same hardships. They can self-aggrandize all they want, but at the end of the day, all they have accomplished is revealing their weakness, their inadequacy, and their shortcomings. They can pout all they want, make all the excuses they want. History isn't written by the players. It's written by the fans. They will be better off burying their heads in the sand because they really don't want to hear what history will have to say. Shout out to the Real Siberius with another great comment. This is facts. This is what I was saying in the videos. Is that, hey, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and all of the players of this era and LeBron James fanboys, acceptance is the word for you guys. Again, like I say, you guys want your cake and need it too. You guys want to do whatever you want to do and still get the same praise as the greats, and you can't do that. You can't have both. If you want to load manage, you are free to do that. If you want to flop around like you got shot by a 12 gauge, you are free to do that. If you want to whine to the refs every single play that you miss a shot, and even sometimes when you hit the shot, you are free to do that. If you want to switch teams, you are free to do that. If you want to switch teammates, you are free to do that. If you want to switch coaches, you are free to do that. If you want to create super teams and play with every star in your conference and try to win championships, you are free to do that. But what you cannot do is change how we will view that as the fans. You can't do it. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all. So you need to accept it. LeBron James fanboys, accept it. Maybe you guys have accepted. Maybe that's why you're not in the comments. Maybe you have finally accepted it. But anyway, shout out to the real Siberians. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Papa Yogito coming through with the $5 super thanks. And this is coming from my Charles Barkley. Says, Isaiah Thomas already knew Michael Jordan didn't like him before The Last Dance because Isaiah Thomas keeps running around talking about, oh, well, I didn't know that's how he felt until he called me an a-hole in The Last Dance. And Charles Oakley is saying, Isaiah Thomas, stop it. You already knew Michael Jordan didn't like you like this. This was no surprise. So shout out to Papa Yogito coming through with the $5 super thanks. He says, win or lose, Jordan shook his opponent's hand even in the biggest losses. On the biggest stage, he would still come up and show good sportsmanship. It wasn't the fact that he finally won. It was the plain fact that they couldn't break him in his failures to get over the hump. No excuses, no fake injuries, just pure motivation to get to the next level. And I was glad to witness it the whole way through. Shout out to Papa Yogito. Exactly. Michael Jordan showed good sportsmanship, and Isaiah Thomas, like I said, not only this is not just about him not showing good sportsmanship in that moment, but like I said, it was going around for a long time how underhanded and sneaky Isaiah Thomas was. And Isaiah Thomas, he was the mentality behind the bad boy Pistons. He was the mentality behind them playing football and trying to injure people. So again, yeah, Isaiah Thomas, he's one of these kind of people that they want to smile when they on TV, but they can be devious. Now, obviously, I don't know Isaiah Thomas personally, but I feel like I've seen enough people say that I have to believe that there's some truth to it. I have to, and just the fact that Isaiah Thomas won't accept how he won his championships. He won't accept the rep that they got as the bad boy Pistons. He won't accept the fact that they earned that rep. Like, again, he always tries to bring up, oh, well, other teams played rough. That's just how the game was played back then. But no, Isaiah Thomas, everybody played rough, but everybody wasn't trying to injure people who came to the hole. Like, that was a Detroit Pistons thing. So yeah, Isaiah Thomas just won't accept that responsibility. But shout out to Papa Yogito. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to In the Groove 56 coming through with the $2 super thanks. He says, he left a link to a video. He says, Uncommon, I just watched this video and it had me wondering why Jordan had so much respect for Larry Legend In this video, it basically destroys any debate imposed against MJ and the leader of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, dissected and prescribed the much needed therapy for fanboys worldwide that a kid is nothing more than a baby goat still being nurtured. Shout out to In the Groove 56. Yes, I will check out this link and do a video in the next couple of days on it. But shout out to In the Groove 56. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Desmond Sherrill 7428. This is coming from my Craig Carton calls LeBron James a spoiled brat, and Craig Carton told no lies when he said that. He comes through with the $2 super thanks, and he says, I was watching a documentary about LaFraud. It's called Independence Day. Based on true events, the aliens sucked up all the resources and move on with no worries. He really needs to warm up that rocking chair with that fake sciatica glute injury. Shout out to Desmond Sherrill 7428. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And last but not least, shout out to the Black Room Experience, another content creator. If you haven't checked out his channel, go over and do so. He comes through with the $2 super thanks, and this is coming from my Carmelo Anthony will be hated for saying this about NBA players. He says, honestly, I don't know if the PED use being confirmed will matter to people these days. I never in a million years thought I'd hear this many people ignoring flopping, super teams, all the crying and low integrity stuff he does. They actually pretend Bronny is a good player. If they find out he's using, they might not even care. This is a strange world we live in. Nothing makes sense anymore. Keep it up, my brother. Shout out to the Black Room Experience. Yeah, you know what? You LeBron James fanboys. I think if LeBron James was ever confirmed for the alleged PEDs, I think it would definitely matter to some people. Now, the LeBron James fanboys, that's a toss-up because you guys, I definitely believe there's a segment of LeBron James fanboys who it would not matter to at all. I'm certain of that. But I actually do believe there's a segment of his fanboys that that coming out would matter. And I say that because every day on YouTube, there are LeBron James fanboys being converted. You see them doing reaction videos, and once they see Michael Jordan, they're being converted. So I think some of this information would sway some of these LeBron James fanboys. But anyway, shout out to the Black Room Experience. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And as I always say at the end of these videos, please continue to show your support to the content creators who give you their honest opinions that aren't bought and paid for. Shout out to Angry Old Hoot Sports and Fitness Rants, Brandon Love Sports, Man Down Sports, Sports T, Self Research NBA Facts, The Basketball Show, Uncut Hoop, Scap Attack, Dreamers Pro, Too Raw for Sports, Ticket TV, The Real Mind Crime, Red Blooded Sports, and anybody else who, 93Z. Shout out to 93Z and anybody else who I may be forgetting. Please drop them in a comment so that people can check them out. Let me know what you guys think about any of the comments that were left today. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.